He begged the doctors to stop. They kept him alive for 83 days. Tokaimura is a small city in Ibaraki Prefecture, Japan. Its economy was built around one industry, nuclear fuel processing. The city existed because the fuel existed. The workers existed because the city needed them. The JCO company had operated there for decades. It processed uranium fuel for Japan's nuclear power program. Its safety record appeared clean because its violations had never been audited. Workers improvised procedures. Supervisors approved shortcuts. Management looked the other way. The rules existed on paper. What happened inside the building was something else. Workers at the JCO facility had been using an unauthorized procedure manual since at least 1996. It was created in-house to speed production. The manual described dissolving uranium directly into a precipitation tank, the same method the three men were using on September 30th. The official documentation, submitted to Japan's nuclear regulators, described a different process entirely. Both documents existed at the same time. No one had ever asked why they differed. No regulator had ever visited the conversion building to verify what was actually happening inside. On September 30th, 1999, three men arrived for their shift. Hisashi Ouchi, 35 years old, Masato Shinohara, 29, and their supervisor, Yutaka Yokokuwa, 45. They had been assigned a routine conversion task, dissolving uranium oxide in nitric acid, the kind of work they had done before. The approved procedure called for stainless steel canisters, filled in small batches, carefully measured. The men chose a different approach. A steel precipitation tank, larger, faster, capable of holding the entire batch at once. The precipitation tank was not approved for this material. The workers did not know why. No one had explained the physics behind the restriction. They had been told what to do. No one had explained why the rules existed. At 10:35 in the morning, Ouchi was standing at the tank, pouring the 7th bucket of uranium solution over the rim. He was leaning forward, close to the liquid. Then came a flash. Blue-white light, diffuse and strange, rising from the surface of the solution. That flash was Cherenkov radiation. Light produced when charged particles travel faster than light through a medium. It was beautiful, in the way that only truly dangerous things can be, and it meant the material had gone critical. A self-sustaining nuclear chain reaction had begun. In the room, inches from where three men were standing. Alarms triggered throughout the conversion building. Workers in adjacent areas were evacuated within minutes. Police began establishing a 1-kilometer exclusion zone around the facility. By that afternoon, residents within 350 meters were asked to stay indoors. 239 people in the surrounding area would later be confirmed to have received some level of radiation exposure. None of them had been told there was any risk. Ouchi absorbed approximately 17 sieverts of radiation in those first moments. The median lethal dose for a human being is between 4 and 5 sieverts. He received more than triple that amount in under a minute. He vomited immediately. His skin began to redden. He could still walk to the exit. He could still call for help. He was conscious when the ambulance arrived, but what had already happened to him was not survivable. In the days that followed, the true scale of the damage became visible. The radiation had not simply burned tissue the way heat burns skin. It had shattered the chromosomes inside his cells. Every cell in his body still existed, but the instructions needed to copy those cells were gone. His bone marrow could no longer produce blood. His intestinal lining could no longer regenerate. His skin could no longer repair itself. The doctors at the University of Tokyo Hospital refused to accept that outcome. They transfused more than 60 liters of blood over the course of his treatment, replacing his entire blood supply multiple times. They performed 3 separate stem cell transplants using cells donated by his sister, hoping the healthy cells would take root and restore function. They covered the areas where his skin had separated from his body with temporary grafts, replaced them when those failed, replaced them again. For weeks they managed each collapsing system, buying days, then hours. What the medical team was fighting had no precedent. Radiation at this level had simply never been survived long enough to treat. Every decision, every transfusion, every graft, every transplant was made without a case history to reference. Ouchi's family was permitted to visit, suited and gloved, pressing their hands against the barrier between them. His mother never left Tokyo. His wife and young son came regularly. The doctors kept the family informed of each development. Whether the family was ever told clearly that survival was not possible remained, afterward, a subject of contention. Some accounts suggest that his mother explicitly asked the team to do everything possible. The doctors complied, but Ouchi's chromosomes were destroyed. The transplanted cells could not integrate. Every intervention slowed the collapse without reversing it. His intestinal lining dissolved. Fluid filled his lungs. His organs failed in sequence. At some point during this process, Hisashi Ouchi told his doctors he could not continue. "I can't take it anymore. I am not a guinea pig." He was resuscitated 3 separate times after cardiac arrest. Each time, the team decided to keep going. He died on December 21, 1999, 83 days after the accident. Masato Shinohara, who had absorbed approximately 10 sieverts, survived longer. He died 7 months later, on April 27, 2000. Yutaka Yokokawa, the supervisor who had been positioned further from the tank, received approximately 3 sieverts. He survived. The subsequent investigation found violations embedded at every level of the company. Workers had been following unauthorized manuals that directly contradicted official safety protocols. The precipitation tank had been used for uranium work before. Management was aware. The company had never formally trained workers on criticality, risk, because doing so would have required acknowledging that the risk existed. JCO was fined approximately 1 billion yen, roughly $9 million. 6 employees were indicted. None served prison time. Yokokawa received a 3-year suspended sentence. The Tokai Mura accident was classified as Level 4 on the International Nuclear Event Scale, significant enough to require local protective action. Japan's nuclear safety regulatory framework was subsequently overhauled. Worker training requirements for criticality risk were rewritten across the industry. JCO's uranium conversion facility never reopened. The city of Tokai Mura lost most of its nuclear processing industry. Over the following decade, the 2,000 workers employed at JCO and affiliated companies lost their jobs. The doctors who treated Ouchi published their case findings in medical literature. The interventions were cited as evidence that certain life extension outcomes were now possible for radiation exposure at previously unsurvivable doses. What the papers do not address is whether Hisashi Ouchi wanted to be the evidence, and Hisashi Ouchi cannot be asked